The officials are ready. The fighters are in the ring, and they are ready. So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble.
So tell me, how's life outside of boxing right now? You know, how
life
are you?
outside
How
of
are you
boxing.
doing?
Yeah,
How
life
are you
outside of boxing is fine. I don't usually have that much drama outside of boxing. Boxing creates the drama in my life, which is strange because it's usually, you know, you're more likely to have drama outside your own life. But no, everything's suspiciously going very, very smoothly at the moment. So I'm just trying to remain positive, focused, and yeah, just keep the cogs turning.
Yeah, because you know a lot of people forget that you guys are people also. You know, like so so I just wanted to see how you were. So I guess I kind of just want to start off with where your love for the sport or how your journey actually even started.
Yeah, so originally when I was younger, I was just full of energy, always getting into trouble and always fighting. But funnily enough, I didn't go straight into boxing, and my dad was encouraging me to go to do some sort of activity sport and get all of this energy and anger out of me by channeling it into something else. So I actually did like javelin and running at first. I actually was doing basically track sports originally, and after a few years, I got really bored because I was really doing it for my dad, not for me.
I know
and
how
so I
that
tried,
is.
yeah.
I do.
So
I can
I
relate.
tried boxing, and I didn't really fall in love with it. I loved it, like I liked doing it, and I enjoyed it, and I got a thrill. But as soon as I got a social life and I got a bit older, so I was about 14 when I actually started boxing, and as soon as I
Oh,
got a
okay.
social life at about 16, I decided, nah, I'm gonna just go out with my friends, and that was that for many years. And then I picked it back up by accident. So I was just doing it as fitness in the gym for cardio because I hated treadmills. So at the time, I was really into my fitness. I was lifting weights, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go and do boxing in the bags in the gym
Mhm.
instead of running on a treadmill. So that's what I did. And then the guy who owned the boxing bit of the actual gym itself said one day, can you just do a bit of sparring with this, you know, this lady that's fighting? So I said, yeah, all right, but I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never sparred, so you'll have to, like, you know, talk me through it. Anyway, that was it then. The girl actually dropped out of her fight and decided that she didn't want to do it. Sparring was a bit more of a reality check for her, like, you know, it's first time sparring. She didn't like the thought of actually being punched in the face. It's completely different to working the pads. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he said, well, I've sold loads of tickets on the basis that there's a woman's bout on it. Because even back then, when I was 20, 21, it wasn't as common.
Sure.
And so he said, you're going to take her place. So after 5 weeks training, I had my first fight unlicensed. And then I lost my first two in a row. And
Uh-huh.
for some reason, I carried on. But I put it down for 2 years, went to Australia, came back, ended up just falling into boxing again, no real desire to fight after the first two losses. And then that was it. I won. It was an away show as well, and I won, and then that was it. Then I had the bug, and I had, like, I think I had like 12 on the bounce, no losses, and I was the away fighter. And in unlicensed, it's almost just, if not more, as corrupt as pro boxing. So
I hear
the
you. Yeah.
chances of winning on the road are just as low as what they are in the pro game, if not worse. You know, you've got no regulated board or anything. So,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, yeah. So that's where that started. And then I went back to Australia and thought
Mhm.
something's just missing out of my life. Like, because we only came back for, like, I think it was 9 months for a period of visa, basically. We were just trying to get
Okay.
my permanent residency out there. So I had to come
Uh-huh.
back for a little bit whilst we got it. And that was when I did the 12 fights on the bounce. And then when we went back, something was just like missing. I just felt dead empty. My partner was loving his life and I was like absolutely hating it. And so I was like, I'm gonna have to go back to the UK and continue this boxing because there's something inside me just wants to do it as a career. And so I got on a plane the following day and just left my life in Australia and decided I was turning pro. And then we went into
following
lockdown
day?
for 2 years.
Following...
the next day.
Oh my God! And then lockdown for 2 years.
Yes, so I really shot myself in the foot there. But that's
Oh
the
my
sort of person I
goodness!
am. Like, if I feel something, like if I feel really strongly about something, like I can't wait to do this. I have to do it there and then. There's no sitting it out and waiting and planning and stuff. I'm very impulsive. If I want to do something, especially if I'm strong minded about it and feel strongly and passionate about it, that's it. Like, I'll be gone in a jiffy.
That's crazy because I'm the same exact way as you, and people think I'm nuts. But I literally, I'm impulsive, but nothing crazy. But like, I am impulsive also. So that story blows my mind, actually. So it's like you've always had boxing in your life, but then you've always been, you were young. You were really young, so you still had to become a whole different person. Like, the person that I was at 16 is nowhere near what the person I am now. You know what I mean? Like, women's boxing has been doing great after the lockdown. Did this have anything to do with you wanting to come back? Did you just look at the competition and say, like, oh yeah, I could do this?
No, because it started to build up during the lockdown. So it started to get really big because Eddie Hearn was putting on the behind doors fights. And so he was just putting like random like fighters on, like with no real experience and giving people a chance that they wouldn't have got in the normal world, because it was like lockdown. And I just thought that needs to be me, that. But I'd already come home and it wasn't as booming as what it is now. It wasn't as booming. It was nowhere near. If anything, it felt like all hope was lost. And so to stick through it and keep training every day and turning up every day. And I had multiple problems getting my license because I had no amateur background. The medicals and the tests that they put you through when you've got no amateur backgrounds for, your like to actually get your license is just way more strict than if someone's had one amateur fight, they get the license. Like, I went through such a rigmarole to get the license and to pass my medical. It was just an absolute nightmare. And then as soon as I turned pro and we come out of lockdown, I was meant to have my debut in July and I didn't have my debut till September because I had 6 cancelled bouts on me. And then I had that
6
fight.
canceled before your first fight. 6 canceled bouts.
6. I didn't know that.
Okay, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, 6 in a row. Absolute nightmare. So then I had my debut, and I fought the person that the board had rejected 3 months prior. For whatever reason, I ended up fighting her. So it was just so frustrating. And then I had another load of dropouts. And then I finally got a fight with the Becky Ferguson fight, and didn't get the decision on that. But it was a really bad performance for me. So, you learn, and there was many things going into that fight. So, from the Becky Ferguson, little did I know that day that would be my last fight for nearly 12 full months, because I had around 20 scheduled bouts, and for whatever reasons, there was so many different reasons. There was no same reason, really. They just didn't go through. So one, the Queen died. Another, we flew the opponent out, and the show itself got cancelled. Another just didn't get on the flight and ghosted us. One opponent said that they had a family emergency and they were poorly, and didn't make it. There was another that was not backed by the board, but very last minute, so not enough time to get another opponent in. There's just been, and it's no one's fault, it's just I've just had real bad luck. I feel like
I was gonna say, this sounds like bad luck. It's just
that's what I mean. I can't even be annoyed at anyone. Like, do you know what I mean? I can't even be like focused and anger. Right, this is what we can do to change it and change what's happening, because that would have been a lot easier. If we had something to blame or pinpoint, we'd know what to do to change that in the future. But it was absolute carnage, and there was no same reason every time. It was something else, and I honestly felt cursed.
I would have been like worried, like, oh my goodness, is this like happening for a reason? Like, I probably would have had
Everyone
like
kept
anxiety.
saying to me, like, this is a
Like,
sign, Hannah. Like,
a sign, yeah.
yeah, this is a sign. Walk away because something bad's going to happen. And I was like, absolutely not. I've given up my whole life in Australia, like everything. I literally got on that plane on my own with a rucksack, and I left my life, my partner, my house, everything. Like, there's not a chance that I'm doing that for nothing. So it was really, 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 really tough. Like the darkest days of my life, for sure. And everyone said to me, I just don't know how you're pushing through. I just don't know how you're doing it. And I don't even know. Something inside me just says, like, I am meant for this sport. And whether people want to judge me on a bad performance a year ago, or they want to, have faith in what I'm doing, is up to them. But I know deep down that this is what I was made for.
You see, oh, that's beautiful. You speak so well. That was an amazing that was an amazing little, like, you just had me mesmerized right there. I was just like, you saw me, I was like yeah, no, that's an amazing story, actually, because a lot, I mean, 90% of people would have given up a long time ago, Hannah. I mean, yeah. So I mean, like, and then for all those dropouts also, that must have been so frustrating, because you're literally training, you're in camp for these people. What did you do mentally to, like, say, like, okay, you know what, I got to continue training because I just got to wait for the phone call, maybe I'm gonna get another one? Or, like, what gave you that drive to keep on pushing?
Do you know what? Like, there was a couple of things, and at the time, I wasn't sure, because you're overwhelmed, and you've got, no matter how many fight dates you get given, like, in the back of your mind, you're thinking it's not going to happen anyway. And for me, it was frustrating, because you've got to put yourself in a certain zone to get in that ring, and so you're working yourself up to this zone, but really in the back of the mind, you've got so many doubts about it happening. And for me, that's not a good mental state to go in the ring. Unfortunately, on my last fight, luckily I performed very well, and I boxed how I know I can box, and I put on a really good performance. So for me, the next time it'll be much easier. But yeah, I went into that ring, and Pat Buddy told me off and said, Hannah, sort it out, get yourself in the zone, and also have a bit of faith in me. Like, I promise you this fight's going to happen. Because I kept saying in interviews, I'll believe it when it happens. I believe it when she steps through them ropes on the ring. And
like, you've been let down so many times that it's just like,
it's like, and it's
like,
not
you
a
just
good way
prepare
to
yourself.
go in a fight. Yeah, and even Arnie, my coach, said to me, Hannah, I do not know how you have come in every single day. Like, the day that my last fight got cancelled, where we'd done another 3-month camp, and I said to him, I'm just going to have a break from boxing for a bit. I'm a bit, like, devastated. And he said, I do not blame you. Get yourself on holiday and then come back refreshed. And so I said I was going to. And then that was on the Friday. It was meant to be fighting on the Saturday. And then I just turned up on the Monday. He's like, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. I wanted to come to boxing. So he's just like, tell you what, he said, you're so dedicated that you really deserve this. So yeah, I don't know what was telling me to get back in the gym every time, but I think obviously it just shows that no matter, even if in your head you've got doubts, whatever, like that burning desire inside, I really didn't want that to be like my last account is a loss on a terrible night's performance with many issues in the background. I just don't want that to be how people remember my last fight. Do you know what I mean? I want to make something and yeah, just prove to myself that coming home from Australia and living that bloody life wasn't just for nothing, So for me, it was more about proving to myself that I do belong in this world, and to make sure that what I gave up there is worth what I'm doing here. Otherwise, I've uprooted everybody's life for no reason. So yeah.
Well, I feel like, okay, do you feel like that it was the right move so far?
I do now, but only till my last fight was I thinking, get me back on that plane. If the next fight doesn't go through, I'm going to give it up. And I kept saying that to myself, kept saying, right, if this one doesn't happen, I'm calling it a day, because I was so mad, and then it wouldn't happen. And I'd do the next fight camp, and I'd be like, if this one doesn't happen. So at the time I was like, no, but then experiencing a proper fight night where you've had a good camp, you've had no injuries, no illnesses, nothing going on in your life in the background.
Yeah, just smooth.
Yeah, and then I had the most beautiful outfit. It was stunning, and it was just a real. I had someone videoing it. I made my vlog for 5 weeks, and then watching it back, I got dead emotional because I watched all my old unlicensed fights, which were absolutely shocking. And then looked at my last fight, and I thought, wow, now
You're
it's
black and orange.
worth it.
You're black and orange kid, right?
So I've branded myself orange, for Blackpool colours, where I'm from in the UK.
That's why I wore black and orange today.
Ah, thank you. I'm in grey, but I've just got back from training not long ago, so I wanted to get ready and feel nice because I rarely ever spend time on my own hair and makeup. And
wait a minute, you just got back from training?
Yeah, I've just finished sparring about an hour before this. Well, I just got home from sparring an hour before this.
And that's how you look? This is how you look?
Well, I
after
don't
sparring?
look. No, I've put makeup on, but my hair is wet, odor to sweat, and there's been no shower involved.
Oh my God, you look great. I mean, you're a very beautiful woman, and I could just say that with all full respect. How quickly was that first fight transition?
It was like 4 and a bit weeks, almost 5 weeks, and that was it. 5 weeks, and that was it. And I had no sparring either. So after that, I had no sparring at all. So I was literally just doing it on the bags. Because on the unlicensed scene, like there's not as many girls in sparring, and because you pretty much fight everyone, there's no real weight categories, so no one wants to spar you because you probably be fighting them.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I speak to a lot of female boxers, and they tell me that even if they don't have that much experience, they fought champions before in sparring and all different weight classes. Do you spar men? I know some women like to spar men.
We do spar men, but I predominantly have a sparring partner now called Laura Kelly, and she is like a real decorated amateur. She's won like everything that you can win as an amateur. The only thing she didn't do is go to the Olympics, but that was for personal reasons. That's not because she wasn't good enough, and she'd be a good one to interview. She's absolutely phenomenal. So I've got really good in-house sparring because she's just turned pro with my coach. So I have got like a perfect sparring partner now. So we spar twice a week now. So yeah, I've come on leaps and bounds.
Are you working full time, right? I believe you mentioned that.
Yeah. So I teach at a secondary school for it's called SMS Changing Lives. And it's a school where it's like an alternate provision. So it's not a mainstream school, but it's not an SEN school, which is like a special educational needs school. So it's like in the middle. And I'm going to be their art teacher soon. But at the moment, I just deliver maths and English on a one-to-one basis, and then do activities with the kids like sports, MMA, whatever they want to do. I'll take them out to do that. And then I have a motorhome that me and my partner rent out. And then I do aesthetics as well. So I'm very busy.
Whoa. So you do it, and you're training full time.
And I train every day.
So you're super motivated. This was a great decision. I'll tell you that I think you did the right decision, honestly. Yeah. People have been talking great things about you. That's how I really, like how I found out about you. So I'm just a regular guy from New York and then I heard so much about you, your journey or your story in the interviews that I've watched. It's really, really motivating to me. I don't know. To me, you're really motivating, and it's the definition of never give up. I felt like it was the exact definition of never, ever, ever give up. And I want to tell you, God forbid your next fight doesn't go, do not give up. Do not. You are made for this. Hannah, you're made for this. That's it.
Thank you.
You gotta go full steam ahead.
I'm in too deep. Yeah, I'm in too deep now. I've got absolutely no intentions of throwing the towel in now. I needed that one fight to get back out there and actually get my confidence within the sport back, not even within myself, but within the sport, because I'd lost hope. But yeah, it's just crazy because little old me, like if I could tell myself all them years ago, like what I'd be doing now, like, people don't actually realize like even though you just think you're nobody from New York and just a little old you or whatever. But for me, if you'd have told me when I was 16 years old that I would be a professional boxer, being interviewed by people from all around the world, from New York, you know, Florida, all the different interviews that I've done, I would have never have believed that. I'm making a career out of something that doesn't feel like work. And I was actually kicked out of school when I was younger. So for me to then be working in a school as well, it's just crazy. Like my whole life's just so different to what I ever imagined it would be. But that is the literal definition of not giving up and not letting these setbacks in life define you. So yeah, hopefully I can be an inspiration to the younger girls. And now I have a young girl who boxes unlicensed, and she looks up to me, and so I try and help her as much as I can with mental and just, you know, helping her with tips and tricks for her boxing and stuff. And she's just had a fight and won and things like that. It's just so rewarding.
Doesn't it make you feel so good? Yeah, like, and she looks up to you.
Yeah,
you know,
it's crazy. I would never have thought that someone would look up to me because I was a bloody tearaway when I was younger. So it's just,
you know,
mental.
I was the exact same way as you. I swear my life has been completely unplanned, number one, but it's I like how you use the word suspiciously. That was very good. Suspiciously, It's been going like Tetris puzzle pieces. It's just working out. I don't know how, but I mean, and life just has like a mysterious way of working.
I think you find that you get luckier and things just fall into place. But what you're doing is, I feel like you create those opportunities for yourself by putting in the work and being in the right place at the right time to get those opportunities and for things to just fall into place. So if you give up and you don't keep putting the same energy in and doing the same things and consistently putting out the same energy, I think that's when things start to fall apart. So, you know, in order for you to be lucky, you have to put yourself in those positions to create those opportunities.
So you're a welterweight, right?
So I'm flipping between super welter and welter. I'm not too sure where my weight is at the moment because I dropped down to super lightweight for not this fight but the one before. But I was very ill, and I ended up needing to go to hospital shortly after, and I was just really, really poorly. And I don't know if it's because I was dropping so much weight or because I got a few health issues at the time. So we're just not sure. We're just not sure yet what weight. But it'd be somewhere between super light and super welter, just depending on the fights that we can get, opponents. Because, you know, a lot of it sometimes is not up to you. Like, you'll have an opponent, she'll drop out, and then you've got to be a different weight to get your next opponent. So, yeah, I can't say for certain at the moment, but we'll just aim for welter for now. Okay,
and I believe Jessica McCaskill has the belts at welter, right? Have you seen her?
Yeah, I saw her last fight, and I don't think it showed a good account of her because, you know, I think she's a lot better than that. But unfortunately, the problem is as well, she was also boxing someone who, if you're having a bad night, will exploit everything, because Chantel Cameron is unreal, and you know, she's now fighting for undisputed with Katie Taylor. So, you know, you cannot judge someone by a performance on losing to someone that's that good. So yeah, I mean, in the future it'd be great. I've just seen that she had a sparring partner from the UK who I know, Kirsty Babington. So if she wants a sparring partner, she can hit me up.
I was gonna ask you, women boxers, is there anyone that when you were, I don't know, getting started or through your journey that you were looking to emulate or looking to for inspiration, or just like somebody that, you know, maybe mentored you, or, you know, where does your style come from?
I don't even know. My style's changed so much over the years. I think I've just grown into my weight division. I feel like for me, I very much like to hit a move. I think when I stand and trade in the middle of the ring, I can look a bit scruffy because that's just what it gets like. So for me, I like slick boxing, and I never tried to emulate anybody. But someone I looked up to always, as cliche as it is Katie Taylor. She really did set the way for the UK women's boxing. I know that
she's a legend.
Shields has done a lot, and you know, the women that started it like Jane Couch. and all them lot, that, you know, massive respect. But the one that really, you know, stood out to me and inspired me was Katie Taylor. And I watched a documentary when I just turned pro, and it was called just literally K and then a T. And I thought, wow, I need that. That's what I want to do with my life. And that just real like fired me up even more. So yeah, definitely Katie Taylor's the one that's inspired me. Yeah.
And I love Katie Taylor. I went to the fight against Amanda Serrano, and
Madison
it was
Square Gardens.
Yeah.
That's on the bucket list for me to fight at one day. That's one of my dream venues.
Is it? I think I could easily see you fighting here. I mean, this is.
So.
Come on over. You got to come over. You got to tell your team to come on over. I mean, you know, as far as like, I think that there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of sparring opportunities, it's all about networking over here. I mean, everyone, it's a lot smaller than people think, especially the boxing industry. So really, like, if you can't get in contact with someone and they're on the East Coast, just hit me up, because I could probably get in contact with them. That's just something that I'm telling you for, you know.
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
You're my
I
buddy
came
now.
to Florida last year, and I contacted a few gyms for sparring, and pretty much no one got back to me until I'd left the country. So I was in Florida trying to get sparring, and yeah, not everyone was on it as we are.
That's crazy. One of my best friends right now, she lives in Florida, and she's at 126
I was
pounds.
in Tampa Bay at the time, but I was willing to travel, obviously.
Okay, if you had a choice whether to fight in UK, Australia, United States, and that's where your career is going to really, really build, where would it be? Do you have like a dream? Dream country, I guess.
I don't think, and this is why I came back to the UK, that there's any better boxing scene than the UK. I think it pushes women's boxing the most. We're the most active. I feel like we have the best stable of fighters. Obviously, don't get me wrong, there's other parts of the world that have incredible fighters. But as a majority, we have the most well-rounded sort of boxing scene. And obviously there's controversy with the boxing board, and I get all that, but the boxing career for me is definitely going to have to be in the UK. I'd love for it to be in Australia or America, where the sun's shining and everything's nice, but unfortunately there's just more opportunities, and I'm way more well connected in the UK. For someone who has never been on TV boxing, I'm very, very well connected, and most people in the boxing industry, if you say my name, will have an idea of who I am, whether it's from social media, boxing, doing interviews, punditry. I really, really put myself out there to try and get my name.
You have a great name. You have a great name,
yeah.
Hurricane Hannah. That's what. Actually, I leaped right onto it. That's what made me click. I was like, oh, who's this boxer? And your name actually is what did it, Hurricane Hannah. That's funny that you said that. I think that this is another hurricane. How do you feel about people using your name?
I mean, it's fine.
No,
we're in different weight categories. We're in different weight categories anyway, and we have different styles of boxing. So I'm not bothered. Unless she was ever in my weight, it wouldn't be an issue.
As far as upcoming scheduled fights, or is there anything in the horizon that you know that would be definitive?
I'm back out on May the 27th. Same venue as last time, Manchester Bowlers. As soon as I finished that fight and I got out of the ropes, I had Pat Barrett texting me the following morning saying, right, we're on to your next opponent, because we're making sure we've got so many backups now just in case. So I already have my opponent sorted. All the money, the weight, everything is agreed. Yeah. And so I'm just focusing on Fight Night now.
How's camp going? Are you feeling strong? Feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good. Like I say, everything's suspiciously going well.
Going well.
Yeah, and now we've got Laura back in training, because she started with us last year. But she's been a bit poorly herself, and she's been going through the process of getting her license. So now Laura's back in full swing. Sparring twice a week, training on the other days, back running now. And just like full swing now. And Laura's got a fight coming up soon, which she'll be announcing soon. So we've got like each other to sort of buzz off. So really, camp's probably
and that's going to be her pro debut.
Better than us. That's going to be her pro debut. Get her on. Get her on for an interview. I'll put you in contact after this.
You know, I love to be there for the beginning. You know,
Yeah.
I don't, and I know that you have fights under your belt, but I want you to know that I'm here as close to the
It's
beginning
still
as I
early
possibly
days
could
though,
be.
isn't it? So yeah, I was going to say it's still early days. So
Yeah.
you can say you've been here from the beginning.
Okay, because that's very important to me because I never ever want anyone to think that I'm just riding off of their their achievements or just it's really important to me that people know that if I genuinely support you, you'll see me there from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just anyone that I could just get your name into their mind, even if they just think like, oh, there's a little wind coming, and then, oh wow, Hurricane Hannah pops up in their mind or something, like the weather, just anything.
Or anyone needs any sparring partners and they want to pay for me to come over and do their camp with them.
I absolutely got you. I was watching your YouTube vlogs, I believe. I did watch them.
I'm a bit lazy with them. I need to step on them a bit more, but it's hard because I'm so busy.
You know what made me smile? The one with the Q&A with you and your mother.
I knew you were going to say that. I don't even know how.
You?
She's funny. She cracks me up. Did you see when she was putting makeup on? And I was like, what are you doing?
Yes,
she just had like white up to
And then when you said she called as soon as we started our interview, I just thought to myself, I was like, this is so funny. Because this is the exact, I know what her mother looks like. I could imagine like her mother just calling right now.
Yeah. And that is what she's like as well. Like, she just has bad timing. Like, she'll ring me. I say to her, like, I'm doing something really important. And she'll ring me. And I'm like, Mum, I told you. And she's like, oh, sorry, I forgot. And it'll be something pointless to tell me, like, the cat's had a shit or something. And I'm like, I literally, could that not have waited? Like, but yeah, she's funny. She's funny.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, Mom, how you doing? Mrs.
She'll
Hurricane.
Enjoy that. Shout out to my mum.
Shout out to Mrs. Hurricane. How are you? And another thing is, you have a dog, a puppy?
No, it's not a puppy, but it is a dog. Come here, baby girl. She's literally with me every second of the day.
She is there.
Come here, baby girl.
What's her name?
She's called. 1 minute. She's so fat now. She's called Carida.
Carida.
It's and it means like darling in Portuguese, and it's so basically. Did you see my love story? How I got her?
I didn't know. I didn't actually.
You're gonna love this now. You're gonna love this. This is such a good
I will, because
right.
I am a huge dog person. I'm gonna tell you after. Go ahead.
So I went on holiday to Madeira after my last fight, the one where I didn't get the decision. And I thought, right, I'm just going to go on holiday for 10 days. So I went on holiday, and she was a little stray dog roaming the streets. And she was so cute, following me about. And so we started feeding her. And then one day my partner just had in his mind, and he was like, shall we just like sneak her in the hotel? And I was like, yeah, like what a good idea. So we started sneaking her in the hotel, showering her and letting her sleep in the bed, letting a bloody stray dog sleep in the bed with us. And then after that, I fell in love with her. And I said, like, this dog, I cannot leave this dog in Portugal. So I had 24 hours to find out how to adopt her, check her microchips, get her vaccinations done, sort her passport out, get her a doggy daycare to go to, and then have her shipped over to us 4 weeks later. And I had to fly someone out to pick her up to then take her back to the main Algarves to drive her back to the UK for us. And I had 24 hours to get that sorted out, but I just fell in love with her and I thought, she's coming home with me. And that's how we met.
Oh my, that is such a beautiful story. Honestly, it is. I melt for stories like this, and people think like, I'm just okay. Let me tell you my story. So I have a 4-year-old puppy. I call him a puppy. His name is King. His name is King, and he's a King Charles Cavalier and a poodle.
Oh, so, that looks so cute.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm gonna send you a picture. It's a Cavapoo. That's what it's. Yep, Cavapoos. So before King, we had a family dog. We had a family dog. It wasn't my it wasn't my son. It was more of a family dog, and he was 16 years old when he passed, and we had him from 3 months, and that's like half of my life. You know what I mean? So it's like,
the family as well. So like, it hurts as much as a human.
Look, I'm gonna cry. Really, like it's like crazy. It's crazy. You see how I'm a super genuine guy, and I'm not afraid to show it either. You know, it's like so it's like
Oh yeah, there's
he
no
meant so
shame.
much. Yeah, absolutely. He meant so much to me. His name was Bullet, and he was he kind of looked like if he was like a Labrador and a Dalmatian mix, and he looked like he was wearing a little tuxedo, like like it was all black and then just
Little
like a white line.
chest.
Yeah. So when he passed, it was the hardest thing in the world, and I never wanted to experience that pain ever again in my entire life, And King, literally, we fell in love with each other.
You can't. Sometimes like you don't pick the dog, like they pick you, and that's like that's what they've done. She's 7. Hannah. I've had her a year this month. Yeah, a year this month, haven't we? We've got our 1 year anniversary next week.
Oh my God! Look at her.
I love it.
Okay, well, thank you for introducing me to your daughter. I think she's very, very beautiful. Yeah. Look at that little one.
Yeah.
Oh, what I did want to ask you was, we don't have to touch on it too much, but I did want to get your opinion on a situation that's going on right now with the big event, Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor and Ellie Scotney and
Ellie Scotney, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think actually Maureen Shea is also in this kind of situation because she was supposed to fight Ellie Scotney. I mean, what's your opinion? Okay, I want to hear your opinion, a female boxer's opinion on the situation.
So when Ellie put the statement out last night, I was absolutely heartbroken for her, but I'm also not naive enough to believe that what you see is the actual story. So obviously for Ellie, she is completely the victim in this. Ellie herself is the actual victim in all of this because she's the one that's losing out over other people's issues, and it's absolutely nothing to do with her. And even Chantel said that herself. Having read Chantel's statement, I fully agree and I fully understand exactly where she's coming from and why she's doing it, because I believe it was with someone's, I don't want to say the names because I don't know what I'm legally could be held accountable for, but somebody's promotions teams and old trainer that she was with have serious problems going on, and there's obviously been something huge happen because there's an NDA in place. So I can understand that Chantel's got the biggest night of her life. She's in somebody else's backyard in Ireland, of all places, which if anyone knows any parts of Ireland, you know how feisty they are. You know, you've also got people.
My brother lived in Ireland for 2 years too. He went from London to Ireland.
There's also people involved in Ireland which are, you know, very, very seriously taken men who are not to be messed with. And the fact of the matter is, she wants absolutely no distractions. She wants no intimidation by people. She doesn't want any kickoffs. She wants that night to be fully focused around her and Katie fighting. No other drama that's in and out of the ring. So if I was in Chantel's position, unfortunately for Ellie, she has caught the brunt of it because at the end of the day, it's only her that's losing out. So if I was Chantel Cameron, I'd do the exact same, because at the end of the day, you've got the biggest fight of your life, fighting someone that Chantel probably grew up to as an idol. You know, they've already fought in the amateurs as well. So what you don't need is all these outside factors. You need to be able to go in there, focus with a clear head and no distractions and no petty drama between people's teams. So for me, I just think that she's done the best decision she can do for herself. And to be honest, it's her fight card. It's her fight night. She's the champion. She's the one with the belt. Katie's coming up to take her belt. It's up to her, really, to decide what terms and conditions she wants. And if that means not having somebody who has personally gone out of their way to try and destroy your life, then so be it. Unfortunately for Ellie, that does mean she loses out, but everything happens for a reason, I believe, and something bigger and better will be around the corner for her, and I hope that for her as well. And yeah, I just think it is what it is. People need to stop giving Chantel a hard time about it because they don't know the facts. Do you know what I mean? They're only presented with what's, you know, face value, and as you know, in the boxing world, that means nothing. So I think Chantel gave a very reasonable and fair response, and from reading that, I would have done the exact same.
But what do you think about the fight Terry Harper and Breakhouse? That would be your weight division.
Yeah, I mean, that's so exciting. Terry Harper is another girl who, I'm not saying I looked up to her, but I was very fond of her. I still am very fond of her as an athlete. I think she's got real discipline. She's always carried herself amazing. I love her team. I get on with Steffi dead well. And I think they're just real down to earth, nice people. And so you want to see them do well. And I think with Terry as well, during the lockdown, I feel like that's where she really boomed. She got a couple of real good fights and opportunities, and she showed a really good account of herself on all the fights, regardless of what controversial split decisions and draws there was. And yeah, I think I'm excited for this. I think Cecilia Breckhouse, yeah, she's this is her last fight, really. I believe that it's all or nothing for her. So she's going to be hungrier than ever because she's going to want to make a statement. And if she wins, who knows where she'll go for it. And if she loses, you know, there's no shame in losing to the younger, fitter generation. Yeah, because this is what happens. You know, eventually you hand down the reins. So I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I do think that Terry has settled in that weight very well. And I think she will fight the same way she fought Hannah Rankin, where she boxes on the back foot. Yeah, and I think she'll box on the back foot, stay clever, and not want to get involved in a war. And I think that's how she wins the fight. And I think she will. I think she'll win it.
That's a great prediction. And do you think that it's going to go the distance?
Yeah, I do think it will go the distance. Because Cecilia is more natural at that weight, so I can't see Terry stopping her if she's boxing clever but on the back foot, unless obviously she times something beautiful. But I don't think Terry will be looking for that. I think Terry will be looking for a clinical performance, and if the stoppage is there, of course she'll step on that. But I think Terry will be aiming to box smart with this one. I don't think she'll want to get involved in a fight.
That actually makes complete sense. And have you ever done commentary before?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of punditry on a couple of online streaming ones. Yeah, on the local stuff. So I've done a little bit on Box Nation, Fight Zone, things like that. But nothing on the major TVs yet. Yeah,
like you know, I think that would be awesome. Like in between your fights, if I could just like hear you on the zone or something, that would be so dope. Actually, because you're awesome.
Fight on the zone.
Yes, that's what
I want to be on a big promoter's show eventually. I want to be on the spotlight, and at the moment I'm really happy where I am. You know, I'm learning, and I'm learning, you know, behind the scenes where it's not publicized.
Are you working with Queensbury?
No, so my managers are the Warrens, and there was talks of me going with Queensbury's, but it fell through when the fight didn't go the way that we wanted it to. So,
okay. And what would be your ideal stable?
Yeah, the end goal. It's a tough one for me because the end goal's always been Eddie Hearn, hasn't it? Right. But recently, Boxer have really been putting on some good like fight cards, and they're really pushing women's boxing. You know, they've had an all-female card. There's always one or two females on their fight cards, and I think they're really starting to step up the game. So I would be happy with Eddie Hearn or Boxer. Even Queensbury I'd be happy with. There's just not as many women in the stable, so although it'd be a good one because they're focusing on you, you know, I'd like to see more women being signed up by Queensbury. That would be nice to show their belief. So yeah, we'll just see. It's early days, and I don't want to rush into anything. So, but obviously everyone's got their sights set on things, and you know, you have that little goal in the back of your mind, which is the ultimate, and that's what you're working towards. But I'm just going to take each fight as it comes, and just hopefully keep progressing and showing different chinks to my you know, my toolkit in the long run. So yeah, I want to be able to be an all-rounded world boxer, not just box one way. So we've got loads to work on yet. Still got so far to go in terms of where I want to be in my skills and my ability, and that will just come naturally.
And I think you're going to do great. You know, we could actually wrap it up because I think that I wanted to leave it with that, because, you know, the last hour has been, it's been motivating to me. You have a great future ahead of you, and I love what you stand for from what you told me today, and just, you know, how your life has been. And I feel like you deserve this. Actually, I feel like you deserve to be where you are right now, and you worked hard. And even if you haven't had too many fights, you've had the fight of your life, and your fight of your life is what makes you the person that you are today. And that's what
I always say.
You.
If I don't make it in the sport, it's not because I haven't tried my hardest. It's not because I haven't put in the groundwork, and it's not because I don't deserve it. It's just simply because I'm not good enough, and I can accept that. But what I won't accept is not, you know, just packing it in and quitting when times get hard. So for me, if I don't make it, it's because I'm not good enough, not because I don't deserve to be there.
Well, you have supporters that don't want to see you ever stop.
Yes.
So
good.
I'm going.
Thank you. I think no matter whether it's male or female, I think if you're looking to get into boxing, I would say that don't live your life with regrets. Make sure that you try it. And if you don't like it or you don't succeed, at least you know. I think for me, living life with the what ifs and the questions about myself, and, you know, whether I should have give up Australia, etc., has made me realise one thing, that if you don't know and you never try, you'll always feel like that. So for me, anyone that's looking to get into boxing or anything, any sport, anything that you're interested in, I would say just do it, because I would rather live with, you know, a funny story or, you know, something not going right than a big regret and a hole in the heart. So for me, it's, you definitely just get out there, make yourself out of your comfort zone, be vulnerable, try it, and you never know, your life just might change overnight. So yeah, and don't stop. If it's something you love and things get hard, don't stop, don't quit, keep pushing through, because one day it'll be worth it. And if it doesn't work out, you know you've done absolutely everything in your power.
Woo! Woo! And that was so good.